Hi, I'm James Suckling, European Bureau Chief of Wine Spectator, and we're here today in Tuscany, in the beautiful hillsides of Chianti Classico, in an estate called Tignanello, with the entire Antinori crew here. Who does what, or is it a bit of everything?
I followed the school of winemaking in Milan, so I've got the degree for enology. Then after that, I started to look after the sales as an export manager of Middle East, Asia and Australia since the last 2 years.
I look after Pronotto, which is the winery we have in Piemonte, and then in Florence I do marketing, so the image, the communication, and then I follow the building of new cellars that we are building on the various estates.
I take care mostly of this new aspect of the company, which is the restaurants, because you know, we had this restaurant since the 60s called Cantinetta Antinori, which is in Palazzo Antinori. Yeah. And then in the 90s, we opened the first one in Zurich, and then another one in Vienna, and then in Moscow, and they've had a very good success.
So, Piero, is your father a difficult boss then?
No, absolutely not. Actually, it's always very, very interesting to travel around with him because obviously, always learn something.
They don't report to me. That makes everything more easy.
Did you always think that you would go into the family business or not necessarily?
For all of us, it came very, very smooth. I mean, it was rather natural. A business, if we want to call it business, in which it's hard not to fall in love with beautiful places, work with the countryside. I mean, there is nothing more.
It was very natural for me, I must say, I was not obliged by my father, but it was almost a normal thing. For them, maybe it has been a bit different because traditionally, women didn't follow the family business, I mean, directly. But now things have changed a lot, and I think that, I suppose that even for them now it's quite normal.
Was there ever that sort of pressure or that idea here, like, oh, well, they're girls, they're women, so, you know, poor Piero, he doesn't have a son.
Better to have 3 daughters that are involved rather than maybe one son who, you know, you never know in life.
I think you're right. Over the years, it's amazing to think how many wineries have been sold around the world into big groups or corporations, and it gets harder and harder, particularly for large family wineries to keep going.
It is, no doubt, but on the other hand, I think that also the consumers, they appreciate the fact that the winery is controlled and managed by a family, because nobody like a family can have really some principle.
To maintain it in the family. It's the only way, I would say, today, especially in our philosophies, to give a continuity from generation to generation.